All right, gang, I woke up this morning and whew, it's minus 20 degrees Celsius outside. God damn! But I'm still going to the movies. Oh yeah. God damn, it's cold. Why am I going to the movies on such a cold day? It's like freeze your nutsack off cold. I mean, literally, you could like punch me right in the baby makers and I wouldn't feel it right now. It's that cold. Wow! Actually, don't punch me there. It would still hurt. I'm sure they would probably, you know, break off into 1,000 pieces like the T-1000 if you attempted to hit them in this cold weather. But nevertheless, I am braving the elements to go see a movie today. I'm probably gonna have to like rethink my, you know, drive home movie review strategy in the winter, because I mean, this is just the beginning. I mean, it could get to minus 30, minus 35 degrees Celsius, and I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to do these reviews in the car on the way home. No. But nevertheless, I am off to the cinema today to go check out a movie called Moonlight. Now, I'm going to be very honest. I know absolutely nothing about this film whatsoever. I haven't been exposed to any teasers or trailers or any advertising material. I haven't read any articles about it. Every once in a while, and I've alluded to this in previous YouTube reviews, I just want to go into a movie completely and utterly blind.
Did I stutter? I'm blind.
And sometimes I think that makes for viewing experiences without any type of baggage associated with them. So I have been hearing nothing but positive critical word of mouth for Moonlight, and I've been hearing a lot of potential Oscar talk about Moonlight. But beyond that, I don't know anything about this movie. Again, I'm going in utterly blind. That makes me kind of excited. I like going to movies without any expectations whatsoever and without knowing anything about them. So it's kind of cool. God damn, it's cold. So without further ado, I'm going to try to warm up my nutsack. Remember, don't punch them. I'm going to make it off to the cinema. I'm going to screen this bad boy, and I'll be back with a review. Hey gang, how's it going? It got so bloody cold last night. I just couldn't bring myself to do my review of Moonlight on my car ride home, because I would have had my heater blasting. You wouldn't be able to hear a word that I was saying. So I felt, why not I just come home and I do the review in the comfy and warm confines of my apartment. So that is exactly what I'm going to do. I was very subtly blown away by Moonlight. I think it's very much like Loving, a film that I reviewed a few days ago. It's a very low-key, understated, but dramatically potent film in very unexpected and atypical ways.
I ain't seen you in like a decade. It's not what I expected.
It's a drama. It is based on a play by Tarell Alvin McCraney, I believe, and is directed by Barry Jenkins. His first film, I think, in almost 8 years. Basically, the plot is divided into 3 separate structures, and it has these little chapters. Each chapter has a title that is a nickname for the main character in question, and each one of these little chapters, I think, are almost strong enough to kind of work in their own little minute way as little tiny mini films or mini time capsules into this character's life. But the film sort of reminded me a lot of Boyhood, in the sense that it's chronicling the upbringing of a person from like childhood to adolescence and then into adulthood. Yet Moonlight has some fundamentally different things to say about its character's upbringing. and ultimately where he ends up. In the first part, we meet this young, really withdrawn child, and he's dubbed Little primarily because he has a very meek and mild-mannered personality, plus he's very, very small. And he sort of is discovered in an abandoned hotel as he's trying to escape from a bunch of bullies by this drug dealer who's played by, damn, I'm going to get his guy's name wrong, Mahershala Ali. He's an actor that I think was really good previously in The Free State of Jones, and he's wonderful here.
At some point, you got to decide for yourself who you're going to be.
He decides to take this child home and sort of like care for him with his live-in girlfriend, because his mother, played by Naomie Harris, is this really downtrodden and emotionally abusive drug addict who just ironically happens to be taking the same drugs that Ali's drug dealer is peddling.
He usually can take care of himself. He's good that way.
So then we flash forward several years to the kid's adolescence, and he's now being bullied and harassed by many of his peers.
Not to remember.
It's at this period where his sexual awakening, shall we say, grows, and he's sort of struggling with his sexual identity while being bullied and tormented by his peers. And this part sort of ends on a very bleak note. And in the third and final chapter, we really get to see him as a hardened adult, and he's kind of come full circle in the sense that he also has become like a drug peddler, like sort of his friend slash mentor from the first part.
Gonna listen.
To who, Ma? Huh? To you?
And he tries to make a connection with a young man that he had a very intimate encounter with previous to the film, and then the plot sort of propels itself from there towards this very poignantly rendered but very open-ended conclusion.
What you looking at me like that for? What, man? Come on, you just drove down here? Yeah.
First things first, this is a beautiful and sumptuously shot film, but I guess they color corrected the film to give each part its own distinct visual flavor, and they use different film stock, so I really like that. This film also takes place in Miami, which is something that I neglected to mention, and Miami itself becomes this ethereal background supporting character that sort of dictates the terms of all the characters' lives. It's also a very sort of dream-like quality to Moonlight that's really hard to describe. I think it's kind of noteworthy that the aura of the film has this dreamlike quality because the main character at various points in his life is shown having dreams or nightmares. So that sort of complements the character's journey as well.
Try to forget all those times.
I also like that Jenkins as a director, kind of like Jeff Nichols, as I commented before in my review of Loving, he shows great patience. He respects and trusts the viewers. This is a very slow burn film, and it takes a long time for it to sort of slowly build towards something. But it does build to rewarding dramatic crescendos that pay off in, again, very powerful ways. But I like how tender and compassionately rendered the film was. You know, more importantly, I think the film offers this intimate look into the lives of its African-American characters that you frankly don't really get to see in a lot of other mainstream films. You know, even though I, for example, am far removed from the type of atmosphere and climate that the main character grew up in, nevertheless, it does tap into some universal themes like of isolation and loneliness and despair. And the film also talks about the daily struggles of how young kids try to figure out who they are, what kind of person they want to be, and so forth.
At some point, you got to decide for yourself who you're going to be. Can't let nobody make that decision for you.
Film does have this very dark nihilism and bleakness to it, but ultimately it's really about how characters sort of, from different walks of life, sort of come together to heal in unison. So So I really like the uplifting message that is at the core of the film that I think anyone from any walk of life can really take away from after they see it. And it also deals with a lot about racial identity and what it means to be an African-American male, and masculine identity and sexual identity. And I think I like how the film sort of subverts our expectations of these characters. I mean, we've all seen, you know, drug peddlers, for example, in films, but Ali's drug peddling character is so much different than what we've come to expect in so many other films before. He's very sort of quiet-spoken and kind of noble-minded in his manner of taking in this young child and trying to act as a sobering mentor-like figure to him.
I got you, I promise. I'm not gonna let you go. Hey man, I got you. There you go. 10 seconds.
And I really like how it sort of breaks down stereotypes for these types of characters. You know, in terms of performances, there's a couple that really stood out for me. Naomie Harris, I think, is a really assured actress, and she really dials deep into her deeply flawed and damaged character. And she is wonderful at playing this woman who desperately tries to care for and love her son, but in the end, she's really incapable of doing that because it's impossible for her to love and care for herself. And
Huh? What happened, Jharrel? Why you didn't come home like you're supposed to? Huh?
And Ali, again, he's a very quiet-spoken, understated actor. He's not the type of flashy actor that the Academy usually gives Oscar nominations to, but I really was taken in with what he did by, again, subverting the gangster stereotypes that we've seen with these characters in so many other previous films. And he really brings this gravitas to Moonlight that was very unexpected.
I've been here a long time. I'm from Cuba. A lot of black folks in Cuba. You wouldn't know that from being here, though.
I think if the film ultimately were to have one little weakness, I was constantly thinking of Boyhood when I saw this film. And Richard Linklater's Boyhood, one of the great films of our current decade, that film, of course, dealt with the upbringing of a child from boyhood to adolescence and into adulthood. But that film used the same actor to play the character through various stages of his life. So I don't think that Moonlight packs that type of awe-inspiring gut punch and wow factor that Boyhood had. But nevertheless, I mean, Moonlight couldn't really be any more different despite its superficial similarities to Boyhood because it has a lot of compelling and intriguing themes at its core that weren't really at the core of Boyhood. Ultimately, I thought the film offered a lot of sobering and rich insights into what it means to be a man and what it means to be an African-American man and what it means to be an African-American man, you know, struggling with his sexuality while growing up in impoverished and really tough conditions. So it's going to be a kind of a shoo-in for multiple Oscar nominations, and I think it definitely deserves to be seen.
Who is you, man? I ain't seen you in like a decade. It's not what I expected.
There you go. There's my review of Moonlight. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of the film. If you saw it, also let me know in the comments below if you saw Boyhood. That's a film that I've been drawing comparisons to before, and what you thought of Boyhood in comparison to this film. Once again, thank you very much for watching. If you could like this video, I'd really appreciate it. If you could also subscribe to my channel, that would mean the world to me. Take care, everybody. Stay warm. And I'll see you at the movies.